Got it. Got it.
Brilliant, brilliant,
And
brilliant,
yes, we
brilliant.
are live. Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to another live. Sorry, we were not being very consistent, and especially me, I was absent due to some unavoidable reason, and I was missing that because these
Mm,
lives are such an opportunity for me, such a blessing for me because every single time, not only I learned a lot, but also I get a chance to practice what I have been learning so far.
oh,
And it is a big opportunity and a blessing in life. We have a very different idea of blessings. My perception of blessing has changed a lot in many ways, in many dimensions. Actually, it evolves during the time. Throughout the time I have spent with Way of Impeccability and Moreness project. Now blessings are different. Before it was the what how to say that, yes, before it was the end result of materialization of any intent. This is what I was thinking, that okay, now this is a blessing. They are, but actually blessing is something more than that. Now blessing is having more possibilities in your life
mm,
where you can choose, and having this possibilities, open-ended possibilities, and that empowerment. Possibilities can be easily can get wasted if you are not empowered enough to avail and go through them and pursue them really. That's why blessings are now a different concept in my life. So
mm.
these lives are blessings. One of the blessing in my life, because I am getting so much, and I am also trying to contribute.
You
And
do, you
it is
do.
another, it's a different way of responsibility.
Mm,
It's a different way of taking
mm, mm,
responsibility
mm.
of awareness and learning and growing. When you feel and when you have this ability to share what you have been going through, what you have been learning, it is a big responsibility. And I
Yeah,
feel responsible for that. Whenever I share something,
yes,
whenever I have this
it
opportunity,
is. It is
whenever
a
I am not
responsibility.
able to do it as eloquently as I want to share, I feel responsible for.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I feel that
yeah,
responsibility
yeah.
because
I
I am showing myself as a result of this process, not the
yes,
end result, but I'm showing myself, presenting
yeah,
myself
yeah.
as a symbol
As the
of the
process
process of
having
learning and
made
growing.
some difference. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, and
and that's why I
continuing
feel
to do so,
responsible.
and continuing to do so. Yes,
Exactly, exactly,
yes.
and I feel
But
responsible for that.
also, you bring up a fantastic point. I think that if we take responsibility, capital R responsibility, one of its aspects,
Yes,
of course, to be capital R responsible is to assume full responsibility for everything that happens in your life and all your choices. But also it comes into play with sharing, because we can inadvertently share something that can inadvertently be assimilated, accumulated, taken on, taken in with others. And therefore, it is
yes,
our responsibility because of that inadvertency. Yes, we are not at fault. And we can't be to blame if somebody else takes whatever we are saying the wrong way or takes it in, but nonetheless, our ethics, our deep ethics, and from a new nobility perspective, they absolutely say, no, this is something that we are very cognizant of, and therefore we take what we put out very, very seriously. That includes their entire being. It's not so much about what they're saying or
yes,
necessarily doing, but how they are. Yes. In other words, if you walk around and you're all grumpy and miserable and you're complaining, you might be in your own bubble. But what are you sharing by way of implication? Like a child or an innocent person who comes along and say, "Oh, wow, well, I guess by implication, it's okay to do that because here somebody's doing it and they're not embarrassed, they're not feeling awkward, etc. They're just doing it and they're quite okay with it. They're quite into it. See? So now you are presenting a way of being which you are saying is okay simply through your way of doing it and the implications of it. Now the kid might not actually consciously think that, but that doesn't mean that they don't think that. I see this happen all the time, not just with children, but with people, right? Where cueing gets
Mm.
this profound connectivity going on, right? And it's something
Yes.
very, very massive. And therefore, from a super ethical point of view, like the new nobilities, we are very, very careful and cognizant of this, right? Very, 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 very. Yeah. How powerful is that? Uh, to me,
Exactly.
this
Exactly.
is
Thank you
really fascinating.
for yes. Thank you for actually articulating it really well, of course, because this is what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
That I feel that it's a responsibility also when
yeah,
I'm sharing
exactly,
something because I'm
exactly.
showing the process, the
Right,
or the
right.
materialization of that process of learning and growing
Yes,
since where I
yes,
have started.
yes.
It came into my mind because of today is Ray Bradbury's birthday, and I don't
Um,
know why I feel so much connected to that person, though
hmm,
I haven't read any of his book, only quotes, only
interesting,
quotes, not no
interesting.
book ever. And I don't know why. I can read, of course, but I don't know why. But sometimes I feel that, oh yes, this year I'm going to read one of his book at least. But somehow it is not happening, or maybe it is just coming via attunement. Whenever it will come. But I really feel that I'm not still not finished with uh, extracting value from his quotes. There are tons and endless amount of quotes available, and of course, Sil himself, like so many quotes. I everything is quote actually. It's quotable
Yeah, yeah.
from him.
Thank
And of course, all my friends also, many other authors, Buddhas, Quran, everything is quotable, and it can change my life. But that was the one, and because I have this connectivity with the time period where I was struggling to understand things, I was actually starving for that someone who can actually share something, tell me that what to do.
yeah,
Desperate. I was depressed because I had no clue. I was very recently came out of uh, that trauma in my professional life or in my educational life also. That was I was literally a clueless person who was struggling to find someone who can give a bit of idea like what to do.
a
And
beautiful
it was a
innocent,
very long time period. Sorry.
a beautiful innocent, not clueless.
And it was a long time period, 2 years of isolation almost, and 2 years
Yeah,
of struggling. I was pondering my head like really. Where people say that and sometimes crack jokes about. You can see a lot of memes about like, oh, the universe just give me a sign, and then they do create jokes about it. But sometimes some people literally go through that time period where they have no idea that what they really want. It was not about like what I want to do, or but I was not aware of myself. That self-awareness is the real foundation. You need to know what you really want, what what you really want to be, what you
yeah,
really want to do
yeah.
in your life, what you really want to look for in your life. Self-awareness is the most difficult and most crucial, because without that you are not self-honest because you're not aware. For me, I
Exactly.
was aware. I was aware that I'm not aware of these things. That's why I was struggling to
Well,
understand what to do and how to do things, because everything was for me like, okay, yes, I can do. I could pursue a new career. I had this ability, but what I was struggling was I was not feeling honest. Because
yes,
yes, I can feel
yes,
it. I was not feeling
yeah,
honest. Self honesty is like oxygen. For me, at least, I can say that is oxygen. Otherwise, yes, you might survive artificially, but it will be a virtual life, not a real life. That was the time when I read this quote: "Jump off the cliff, and you can grow your wings while you are falling."
Yes.
That was the
Wonderful.
push. That was the push. That virtual push I need.
Wow.
And that was something I said, okay, whatever is going to come now, I will jump and I will see it later, whatever. Because
Oh,
before that, I was literally practicing the pause. I was
yeah.
just waiting for something will come up to me, completely ready, customized for me, completely fit, and someone will ask me, Veena, this is what you need to
Mm.
do, and then I will go. Life doesn't work, at least not for me, in that way all the time. So at that time, it was not working. It's in this way. Yes, sometimes it works like that too. But at that time, it was not appropriate. So my wait was actually useless, waste of time. I was just waiting and sitting that something miraculous will happen
Oh,
and I
oh, 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 oh. I need to jump in and stop you there.
yes, that
Sorry.
waste of time. Yes, I know,
It
I know.
was not a waste of
I
time. You were building the energy needed to be able to
yes,
bring
yes,
it into your
yes,
life. Yes?
yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes,
No
yes, I need
waste,
to.
no waste,
Just,
no waste.
yes, it was not
Cancel that.
waste. I was just waiting and
No,
waiting and waiting, and
no.
then I read this quote, and it changes my life. Whenever I feel
Exactly.
any doubt,
Right.
whenever I feel that, Dina, you don't know this thing, how you're going to do, because
Yeah.
I consider myself not a very bold person into trying new things. No,
Oh,
I'm reluctant. I always try to find some excuses. No, I'm comfortable in my cocoon. I'm comfortable in my bubble. Why to do that? I'm not very ambitious in this regard.
oh,
But but when I read this code, and I said, okay, if it is, and then I learned attunement, at least a bit of or basic of attunement from self.
yes.
And when I learned that, I realized that you need to push yourself a bit, and then of course, then universe will take care of it
Mm.
and take care of you also.
Oh, yeah.
When
Oh,
things
yeah.
come up,
Oh, yeah.
are coming up into your life, and universe is presenting you. Universe is not going to come like, okay, knocking on your door and say that, okay, here's your parcel, Beena, everything is ready, just go have your meal, and then you will become
Oh,
someone like this. No,
right. Right.
we have to do, we have to do, and we have to go through the process. At
Right.
least
Right.
if we don't have to do anything, we need to go through a process. At least this is unavoidable,
Yeah.
cannot be eliminated. The process is going to be there. It can be
Because it
short, it can be
always
long.
has to be your choice.
Yes,
Right?
I'm just
Always.
saying
No
that
matter
it can
how
be
big the
long.
gift has to be your
Yes,
choice. Yeah.
the process needs to be and always be there. And I was not understanding that I need to go through that process, and to go through that process, I need to initiate. I need to make choice. I need to
Exactly.
prompt and say, "Oh yes, I'm here. I'm in." And that was the thing. That was the push Ray Bradbury's code gave me. That
And
go.
you did.
And
And you
then
did. When you saw that post in Facebook, you
exactly,
jumped. You
exactly. This
jumped,
is
and you're still
after
growing your
that.
wings. You're still growing your wings. As
Exactly.
I
I'm
am.
trying to
As
do
I
that.
am.
And
Yeah.
this is how, and that's why I say that this quote and Ray Bradbury actually changed my life in most
Yeah.
positive way,
Yeah.
because that was the idea. Okay, Pina,
Yeah.
yes, you have no idea what it is, but just go. What will happen?
And
We
we're
will
doing this
see.
every day, Bina, right?
And then of course now that's why I was saying that, okay, it becomes my life mantra. Now
Yes.
it is my life mantra.
Yes.
If universe, we all say, oh, universe loves us, universe wants to protect us, universe wants to get this and all these things. When we have this understanding, why don't we trust universe? At least I
Exactly.
was not trusting universe.
Exactly.
I was not trusting the
Exactly.
universe, that it is
Exactly.
not going to harm me. And that piece of being, of course, it came later while learning and growing, and it's still in process,
Yes.
through way of impeccability and other things, and the Moreness project. But that peace of being, that what will happen? I'm not going to, the most scary idea in my life is that in any situation, in any circumstance, I will lose myself.
Oh.
If nothing else can harm me, and nothing else can scare me more than this, I think that this is the most horrible thing for anyone, but for me at least, losing yourself. But when you acquire this self-trust, that whatever is going to happen is, I'm not going to lose myself. That's it.
Right. You
Okay,
cannot. You
now
cannot. That's the
I
magic of way of
exactly
impeccability. You
now
cannot.
now I can actually, and I practice that many times, and I'm continuously doing this. Jump off the cliff and grow your wings.
Yeah. On the
That's what
way
I'm
down.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
what a wonderful experience it is. One cannot experience it and understand this without experiencing it. You have to, you have to jump into things, the excitement, the chaos, the pressure, the stress, and then suddenly a flight.
Yeah. Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma.
That
Hello, Norma.
you need to experience that. You have to do this. To feel that,
Exactly.
you have to do this. And I have done many times in my life. Now it is now that thing. Of course, first it was a choice. Now it is becoming like an innate thing, like in organic. It's innate. It's like duh for me. All it needs is just a simple understanding what I'm doing right now.
They're magical.
Okay, I'm doing it for what? For this. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Jump
Very
off the cliff.
magical.
Feel the
Very
wind.
magical.
Feel the stress. Feel the stress. Look how you are going to crash if you will not fly. And then see that, okay, how the actually you do that. And we are experiencing it. I learned from
Oh
self.
yeah.
Literally,
Oh
this thing I have beside myself. I have seen this in two people. One is my mother, and the second one is self. I was there when I saw self literally jumping off the cliff. There was nothing, no ground under your feet, nothing to hold on. And he jumped, and he jumped. And I know I saw that stress, that pressure, that danger, that risk. But the only thing was there was his self-trust, was his
And
trust
trust of the
in
universe.
general, in the universe, and his trust in himself. That was amazing. I have experienced it. I saw my mother practicing it. She is so brave. She was so courageous in this regard. Yes. Okay. We will see. And then she learned. And of course, this is how we all grew up. But it was not deliberate in my life because she is the one. She is the big tree there. I am the tiny grass under her protection. I was the one. And you see that, okay, under the big trees, there are always no big trees actually grow there, always just bushes and some grass. If you want to be a big tree, you have to get out of that protective shade. And that is something some of one of my father's friend told my father when because my father's elder brother was responsible and yes, responsible for everything. And yes, he's taking care of. And my father was not taking responsibility, and he was suffering because of this. And his friend says, "Ta, these were my father's names initials." And he says, "Ta, have you ever seen any tree grow under the shade of another tree? No, only grass and bushes. If you want to grow, you have to get out of this shade." And that was the day my father said, "Okay, I'm getting out of it."
Good for him.
And he actually get out. Yes, yes. So, but with Sil, I have seen this. Nothing to hold on. There was an absolute trust. And not just trusting in one moment. That was most amazing and magical. Like, okay, yes, I trust and I gamble. No, it was not gamble.
Nope, it
It
was
was
not
a
a gamble.
trust.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it was a trust
no,
because
no,
it was a continuous process. Gamble is just throwing your dice one time
yeah,
and
yeah,
then done. Okay,
yeah,
you did something, done.
yeah.
Now
Trust
there's
is continuous. Yeah,
no space for trusting anymore. But when you
wow,
have to practice capital T trust, it's a long process. It's a
yeah,
continuous, regular thing.
yeah. And there's
You have to
no,
maintain.
you have no idea if there is something that's going to happen. I mean,
Exactly.
when you
It's a
gamble,
continuous process.
you at least think there might be something, right? But if you have no idea what there could be, that's a whole different idea, different concept. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Oh,
that was something really amazing for me. And I saw that
brilliant,
in
Bina.
practice. I saw that in practice.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Jump off the cliff and grow your wings.
Yeah, and you've done it many times too. I remember
Oh,
the first time we were on Zoom doing a live, and I don't know, something happened, or I don't know, maybe I just had or just the feeling to do it. I said, okay, Bina, you're doing it today. We actually
yes.
were with people, with other people. Oh no, it wasn't live. Well, we were live, but not doing a live.
Yes.
We were doing Wave Impeccability with the participants were coming on, and I think there was more than
Yes.
one at the time. Anyway,
Yes.
I said, Bina, today you taking care of the participant, and she
Yes.
just jumped right in and flew. That was it. No
Yes.
preparation, no nothing, right? You stepped up. You stepped up, in other words. So
Always try.
and this is,
Always try.
things like that have happened many times. Yeah.
Yes. Also doing
And
this.
now you do it without a second thought. Even it's like, yeah, like
Yes. Okay.
I can't do
Also,
the Z snap, but it's like, psh, no big deal.
yes, it
Yeah,
happens. Every single day it happens. Whenever we come on Zoom, there is no idea,
yeah,
nothing beforehand,
exactly.
nothing,
Nothing is
no idea.
scripted. Right,
And
right.
no, absolutely not. We don't discuss even things.
No, from
And
the heart,
and
from
the
the
moment
heart.
you say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we are live," and I said,
Oh,
"Okay." So and I trust that. Jump off the cliff and grow
yeah.
your wings. I said, "Hello, hello, and welcome," and I start sharing what
Yeah.
is inside me. I don't prepare for that
Yes.
because it is innate to me. It is
Yes.
natural.
Yeah.
If I have to prepare, then I'm not prepared. That
Yeah.
is it is like
Yeah.
duh. And this is
Hello,
what we don't
Norma.
do.
Hello, Norma.
Yes.
I'm saying hello to Norma. I'm saying hello to, sorry, because I put the camera on, but then I was only on camera for a few seconds. So I went to make coffee, Norma. Sorry. But anyway, here I am. Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma. Need WD-40. Why is our voices squeaky? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, today's
But
that's why that was the inspiration, and I was just taking time and take this
brilliant.
liberty to this
Brilliant.
opportunity to wish Ray Bradbury a very happy birthday. He must feel happy because he is part of this process, and he
Mm,
made a change in someone's life. Thank you, Ray Bradbury. Thank you,
yeah.
everyone else also, because
Yeah.
I always say I would not be able to understand what Sil was sharing and now still now sharing.
Mm,
I would not be able to if those people were not prepared me for that.
right.
Alan, my friend, and my other friends also. Paul, he's no more, which is very sad for me anyway.
Well, it's just
And
different. Maybe not no more, but it's just different.
yes, he's different,
Yeah.
and I miss him. I miss you, Paul, big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Alan, and Ray Bradbury, and some other people also. They all were preparing me to actually just be there, so I can take a leap. So
Yeah.
sometimes not like
Yeah.
about like okay who was bigger than that or that. There is no comparison. Everyone was contributing, and I'm very appreciative of every single one. That's why I say that okay, these people, because I'm a Muslim, so and Muslims have a big, huge respectful idea or conception of teacher, any teacher. Now I see that I have countless teachers throughout the world, not only my friends here on Facebook, but also tons of YouTubers,
Yeah,
girls who are
the
just,
whole world is your
yes,
teacher.
girls who
Yeah,
looks like nothing, and we say, oh yes, they are just like is
yeah,
inspired by that celebrity and all that, but they are also sharing their experiences. And
yeah,
I don't know how many hours they have spent to learn that just one tip, and they are giving us free. I'm so appreciative for all of
yeah,
them. For
yeah.
me, they all are respectful. I'm so thankful to all of them. That's why I'm so thankful to this internet and social media also. Because of that, I'm able to learn all these
Yeah,
things.
magic,
This is
magic
this is
of
this is how you can understand how profound this opportunity is for me and how grateful I am for that. I don't do that. Like, yes, I'm appreciative every moment, but I don't do that or I don't say that regularly, like, oh yes, 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 Sil, yes, yes, yes. No, I don't say that. But today is very appropriate for me. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
super pleasure, super pleasure. It's always a joy with you, Bina. Everything just a joy, a joy, a joy, a joy. Yeah, yeah, you contribute a lot. Yes, you are massively contributive. And I say this for others who have said so, and also for myself. So yes, you are. Yeah, it's just a joy. This is the magic of sharing, because the joy is in the sharing. It doesn't matter if anybody else gets benefit or not. That's just bonus if they do. Yeah, that's just bonus. We do it. We do it for the magic of it in itself, right, Bina? Its own joy.
Yes.
It's its own
Yes.
joy. And very important to be aware of and understand. Norma, any comments before we get going? Could you maybe pull up slides, open up slides, Bina?
I will try.
Hmm. That would be good. I'm thinking of this capital R responsibility of sharing. If we were to be more cognizant of what we do and how we share, and when I'm saying sharing, it's our entire being, and of course our actions and our words, right? And other things that are more, writing, art, music, whatever. As a society, if we were more exquisitely responsible for that sharing and to realize how much influence it has, I think it would be a profound difference when it comes to how we grow up. Yeah. How much did we not assimilate as, well, that's just what you do. Well, if somebody's irritating, you get irritated. No, no, sorry. That's not a thing. Whether they are irritating or not doesn't mean you have to be irritated. Right? If you're standing in line and waiting, you must be impatient. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Yeah. So this responsibility is a massive thing, and this is a big deal for the new nobility. It's just a nice point to bring in there. And we can see this in Biella. She is taking exquisite care in what she is sharing with Camelius. Yeah. Extra now. I mean, she does it in general, but with Camelius now, this is at its absolute maximum, her responsibility. Right? Not just how she's sharing, how she's interacting, everything she's doing. It's every single thing is very, excuse me, very deliberate. Very, very, very deliberate. Profoundly so. Most wonderful indeed.
Every opportunity, possibility, and privilege is just a different name of responsibility.
Exactly. Exactly. It's why it's such a big deal for the new nobility. Capital R responsibility, it's core to Way of Impeccability and core to their entire lifestyle. Everything they do is responsible. And, like on Sunday when Joseph came on, right? He was talking about in native culture, at least his particular native culture. I don't know how it's across the board, but maybe. But he said native culture, so I'm assuming it's across the board from what he said. How for the concepts of uh, um, archetypes are a big deal, and it's part of your. You wait for it to come to you. You take your archetype and then you run with it. This is like your path in life, etc. And I was sharing from the responsibility point of view. that what I'm sharing isn't an implication and it's not presuming that this is what everyone has to follow and do. No, the responsibility on and in the new nobility, their culture, they make every effort to say, hey, this is us. This is what we feel is good. Just because we like it and we feel it's good for us, for how we are, doesn't mean that you have to do it. And it doesn't invalidate what you do. Yeah. So I wanted to share. I'm hoping
Yes.
Joseph comes on a bit more. I made that point in the live, but I just want to emphasize it again. Simply because I am presenting an alternative way of living, that doesn't mean I am by implication critiquing or criticizing other ways of living. No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. I mean, in the same way, when you
Yes.
share, you share about being a Muslim, you don't say, well, you have to be a Muslim. No, this is how you are a Muslim. If you choose to be a Christian, a
Of
Hindu,
course.
Buddhist, whatever, that's all good. Right. And same thing, and I'm assuming when Joseph shares about, his Native American culture, that and he's not saying, hey, you must be this. He's not saying your culture, whether you now, Kenyan or Argentinian or whatever, doesn't matter where you are, whatever culture you're in. He's not saying your culture is invalid. He's just saying what his culture is doing. But he was saying it in contrast somewhat to the new nobility. And so I'm just a little cautious of that point, that we mustn't fall into this trap. Right? This trap of assuming that when somebody shares something, they're saying your thing is wrong. Yeah, yeah. Norma, to type the comments, because this has come up before, right? Tap on the video and see if that changes the comments. Because you just have to do something extra to comment. Or at the bottom, maybe scroll down a bit, and it says comments and something like that. Well, you were commenting, so you found it. You were commenting. You're there. You're there. You're there, Norma. You're there. All right. Did you manage to bring it up, Bina?
Sir, look at screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not. Oh, Bina's already there. All right. All right. Will you read, please? Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
to which side actually, the number?
Oh, start from the beginning. Yeah, yeah. From the quotes. Although I think you may be on the very first one, or is this the part 2? Is this the latest deck that we're on?
Let me see.
Oh, you have to click on the bottom left there.
No, just look at this.
Oh, the starting one. Yeah, that'll work too.
Yes.
No, we want to be on part 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So click on the little hamburger on bottom left of your window there.
Yeah.
Well, more left, more left. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, just click. No, just click. Just click on it. Ignore that. Yeah. And it'll come automatically. And then it will be now in the top left, the deck. See? Part 2. No, part 2 on the left. Other part 2. Yeah,
No, I know.
the most recent one. Yeah. So
7,
click on.
it was chapter, yes. And it is
Yeah.
chapter 8.
Right. So just click on edit now. No, click on edit. The pen, the edit pen. There you go. Yeah. It's been a while since you've been doing this.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh, good. That's it. And then read when ready.
Hearing, yes. Hearing, receptivity, just by themselves alone, are therapeutic and need no more to be transformative. Biella Noble.
What do you think of this in the context of Camellias? We haven't seen it yet. It's coming.
Yes. Okay. Now, when we hear our ignorance, our unawareness, we transform our ignorant unawareness into moreness. Wow. Yeah, man. Noble. Okay. When we hear our ignorance, our unawareness, we transform our ignorant awareness into moreness. Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Our own ignorance.
Yes.
Like you
There it
did.
says,
Like you did. Well, I'm just emphasizing our own. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm not looking at the screen, so I didn't see the quote.
No,
But yeah.
it's not our own. It
Oh,
is not there. Yes.
let me look. Let me look. I'm misremembering the quote. Yeah. Yeah, it's not our own, but when we hear our ignorance, our unawareness, by implication, it's our own. Yeah.
Yes.
We transform our
When
ignorant
we hear
unawareness.
others,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please
Go ahead. Go
continue.
ahead. That's it. It's implied there that it's our own. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When we hear others, we hear ourselves. Find noble. This character is so inspiring for me. I like
Yes.
this. I
Yeah.
like this refinement. I like
Yeah.
this fineness,
Yeah.
finesse.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. You know,
this
fine
this
is as a character, he's everything about him is fine, you know, fine featured, you know, you could maybe say like, you know, delicate bones, but not delicate fine, right? So he's not a large, big guy, you know, he's a smaller person, right? Not necessarily
petite.
diminutive.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily petite, but somewhere in between, right? It's just smaller than average because he's fine. Everything
Hmm.
is fine with him, right? His language, his dress, his
Like most
style, the way he moves, the way he
like
listens.
most French guys.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, somewhat of that vibe about him. Yes, but without that,
Okay.
you know, without the affectation that tends to go a little bit
Yes.
with it,
Yes.
or at least in the stereotype.
Yes.
At least in the
Now, I'm not
stereotype.
saying that he is French, but I'm just saying that
Right, right.
it's
No,
something
no, there's just
there.
lots of similarity. I'm just saying, you know, the French stereotype has a lot of affectation to it. He does
Yes.
none of that. He is just genuinely fine. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Just wonderful, you know, that he physically represents it too. Yeah. That's why his name is fine. I love that it's
Okay,
his
should we
name.
continue?
Oh, please, please, please. Yes, yes.
Listen, Biella said simply as much to herself as Cornelius. You're a big deal. You realize that? Yes? Time is stretched for Biella. Cornelius re-emerged and said, Thank you, Biella. We all are. Yes? To discover and play the role fate has made us for, to realize, make real our particular cognizance. Is to see we are a big deal after all. Wow. I want to read this again. To discover and play the role fate has made us for to realize, make real our particular cognizance. Is to see we are a big deal after all. Yes, we are.
Our particular, is it cognizance?
It was cognus.
Oh, cognus.
Cog-
Right.
yes,
I'd forgotten I'd used that.
yes.
Yes, our
No,
particular
it's
cognus.
cognus.
Yeah, because it's not a
Yes,
common word. It's me making it a word. Now, that's
yes,
quite, most people don't understand that. Your cognus isn't a word. No, it is. You have to look up suffixes and prefixes, and you can combine those. And there's a few other things that go in, right? So, like you say, supplement, supplementing, right? Cogging, cognus, right? Moreness. Perfectly valid to combine them. Just because nobody's done it doesn't mean that it's not perfectly valid. It's part of the rules of English. Now, of course, you're also free in English to completely make up your own word if you like. It will become part of the English language if others accept and commonly use your word. And it happens all the time. Somebody comes up with some
yes,
new word,
yes,
and then it becomes a something like moreness. Yeah, I
yes.
mean, there are many people who are using it now. It's just it wasn't always there. Maybe somebody else used it that I don't know of, but you know, it's that's the way words come about, right? It's kind of a duh word too. Now, right, moreness isn't really a completely new word, you know, but you can make up completely new words if you like chortle. Yeah, we chortle is like kind of a chuckle, right? It's part of the English language, and it
Hmm.
comes from Alice in Wonderland, right? He made up that word completely. Well, it's not even that long ago, you know, well, 150 years, something like that. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it caught on pretty quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, he made up bunches of words. Not all of them caught on. Yeah.
But it's fun. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's a big deal to be a cog. No matter how shiny the cog may seem,
Mm.
came out of Biella. She was puzzled at the shiny. Rusted or rusty would have made more sense. But she trust. But she trusted their interaction as special communication, a special way of communicating. She would
Mm.
trust. Trust being so fundamental to a new noble. She added to her resolve. I am an aspirant who wants to be noble. I will trust in what I know. I will trust in what I have learned. I will trust in what I need to learn. I will trust I will learn. I will trust I will have fun. I will trust I'll be filled with joy, she said to herself.
Mm. How cool is that? Now you were talking about trust early on. See how Biella is trusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is and this is very interesting for me because it's been happening many times that when we start live and I just come and I start sharing what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, or maybe sometimes what is happening, what has been happening with me. I just shared what is, and it just came out organically, of course. And it gets completely aligned with what the next slide we are going to read. And I haven't
Mm.
read these slides before.
It's amazing.
So
It's amazing
it
how that
is,
happens.
it's a
Yeah.
very interesting. It's
Yes.
very interesting for me.
It's a phenomenon. A
It
phenomenon.
wasn't the information or knowledge one had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It just
It
happens.
wasn't the information or knowledge one had, but one's trust in those qualities which allowed for whatever information or knowledge was available to be
Mm.
used in the most appropriate way possible. Big shot cock. Cornelius responded. Deep ambivalence and significance lost on Biella. She would stick to her neutrality and would not draw any inferences. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
inferences. Not yet. She'd let it play out as it must. Interesting. A few new nobles had come up the path from the admin building, stopping to interact. Some non-essential conversation engaged in. Biella noted this. Unusual for the new nobles to do this in the circumstances. They had no doubt sensed something and were acting according to their inner sense of appropriateness. For Cornelius, the pause and break allowed him to review a conversation he'd had with Biella about Ursula. That conversation resonating with what the new nobles were saying to Biella. What they're saying this word here, sir?
Which one?
It's a sound, I guess. Like pss, pss. I'm just assuming.
Where?
The overlap are a huge deal. He had heard BLI. It's on screen if you can see.
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, paste. No. It's just part of a conversation where somebody was saying paste, like copy paste. And it's just the end of a conversation, right? He just was remembering that's
Okay.
how it started.
Okay.
And just random.
Space. The overlap are a huge deal. Yes. Okay. The overlaps are a huge deal. He had heard Biella say. That's one of the reasons I love sharing these with you before I publish those overlaps. Your first comment now is also an overlap. So awesome. I will hold off with the next section till I see your blurb. So excited. Their conversation, whatever it was about, had meaning for Cornelius and connected to what he was thinking. He used his intuition often and trusted it just then. He heard himself say, It's kind of loopy, but I think you'll get what I mean. He was rewarded by a smile from Biella. Cornelius had been thinking deeply about that conversation. He added, I edited my comment after hearing yours, working on an additional one. Give me a moment. Perfect for what I'm thinking. Ah, this is great. The overlap.
Comment.
He was paused, writing in his head.
I'm keen to hear your
Not
comments.
to yes, not to play the deceased equine.
Equine.
But we
Equine.
keep coming back to a place
Yeah.
that's
Not,
a
in other words, not to
equine.
flog a dead horse, right? That's what he's saying. The expression, not to flog a
Okay.
dead horse, which is, not to burden, not to go on too much, not to keep saying that's already, repeat the obvious, etc. Yeah?
Okay. Not to play the deceased equine. But we keep coming back to a place that's a new analog of the original starting point. I
Mm.
suppose you could say this proves we have had it all right. Sorry, we have it right all along, but it's not an object, but a journey. Yes, Biella agreed with delight. Cornelius went on. It's not the right idea, but rather the right road. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, process.
Yes. And that's the trust. You're not trusting
Cornelius, the
necessarily
process
that.
is transformative. Sometimes this
Oh, go ahead, Bina. Go ahead. No problem. I was just saying that, you were saying this earlier. The process is jumping, falling, flying, learning to fly. That's it.
yes,
So the ideas don't matter. You're trusting that what you are
yes,
doing, the path you are on, you're trusting the path, not necessarily what you encounter on the path. Yes?
yes.
We have a lot of lag, just in case anybody wonders why there are these big pauses between us. It's like, I don't know if people remember still, but when the astronauts were on the moon, right? And they had the radio live, the broadcasts, and you had those pauses because they had to wait, and then there's a lag. Yeah, it's very cool. It's just that Venus on this other planet,
Okay.
of course.
Mm,
So
yes, yes.
lag.
Okay. Sometimes the process is transformative. Sometimes this transformation is grindingly slow, like a
Mm.
mountain seen from a moving vehicle, which seem to never get any closer. Other times you might hit an oil slick, commonly called a biela. What?
Now look there what he says, right? You see, I mean,
Yes,
it's very, very clever, very artful of how he says this, right? He says the process is transformative. Sometimes this transformation is grindingly slow. Like when Venus said she thought she was wasting time. She was in that pause.
yes,
You weren't. It's just the process was at that point grindingly slow.
yes,
Like a mountain seen from a moving vehicle, right? Which never seems to get any
yes.
closer. But you do
Oh,
get
yes.
closer. And then all of a sudden you're there, right? You drive, you see the mountain, and then suddenly you're in the mountain, you're going through the pass, right? When does it
Yeah,
change? We seldom notice then it changes from far away to then you're there. Right? That's how it is. It's
yes,
exponential, the change. Right? When you get close, it comes quickly. Other times you might hit an oil slick, right, on your path. And in other words, when you hit an oil slick on the road, you typically go skidding and go off the road, and things are
yes,
a bit chaotic and out of control. But I love that he says commonly called a biella with the comment.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, you could say probably in your life that I was a bit of an oil slick, no?
yes.
Yeah.
I guess that the oil slick was social media, Facebook.
That also, right. But look
Yes,
what he says here. It's so poetic, right? He says,
yes,
other times you might hit an oil slick. You just leave it there, right? It's commonly called a biella. lose
Yes.
all the slowing effect of traction. Right? In other words, when
Yes.
you've got traction, it's not only for acceleration you need traction, like if you watch Formula One, right? And
Yes.
you know they have the different tires and the dries and the slicks and the wets and all this, right? And that's all about traction. When they want it for acceleration, but they also need it for cornering and for braking. If you don't have traction, you can't put the brakes on. See, that's why in the wet weather, they need those wet tires, because the slicks, as they call them, the dry tires, because they're very smooth, right? They don't have grip. And then when you hit the corner, you put your brakes, you just go straight. You don't turn, right? Or you can't, even when you try to turn, there's no traction. So he says you lose, when you hit an oil slick, you lose all the slowing effect of traction. The sophistication of that one single sentence, just that one little fraction there, is incredible. Right? Because he's saying that
Yes.
when you hit an oil slick, it's not that you necessarily crash, but when you come up upon something like this, you've been going along and you think you were, not even going fast, but then suddenly you realize, wow, things have sped up and I do need to slow down. I do need this slowing effect of traction, but you've lost it. But then he goes on in the very next line, right? He now jumps into a next profoundness. This is like a little mini poem. Yes. Because
Yes.
he says, and just fly.
Oh, sorry.
It's too incredible.
Sorry.
It's too incredible.
Yes.
As a matter of fact,
Uh,
go next one, the left one, the one to the left of that. One to the left, and then click on the arrow. Yeah, yeah. Actually, Bina, do me a favor and just double click there on fly and add 2 more dots there for an ellipsis behind fly. Yeah, because he's leaving off, so there needs to be an ellipsis, right? Double click
yeah.
or triple click. There you go. Click again. 2 dots. Thank you. There we go. There we go. No, I want 3 altogether. Just add 2. You add it. I don't know why I took them off again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that they would come. Yes. That's all.
Oh. Anyway, I'm
Yes.
just, again, right? He says other times, like the process is transformative. Now, what process is he talking about? Can you go back one slide? He's talking about just process in general, the journey, right? Right?
Yes.
But a journey. It's not the right idea, but rather the right road.
Yes.
This is very powerful. This is very powerful. And then Biella says, yes, we are process. As and this has
Yes.
came up in those when look at like Joseph's idea of an archetype. For the new nobility, they struggle with this somewhat because archetypes are by definition a definition. And they are saying this is a universal definition. But in their experience, they don't find this to be always so. Yes, in some instances, it does apply, but not in all, right? So just because something applies in most instances, that doesn't mean it will apply in all. It's a very common logical error that we assume that because something mostly applies, it always applies. No, that's not so. So archetypes are
Yes.
like stereotypes. They work. I mean, an archetype is a stereotype. It's a very deep, profound stereotype. It's kind of positive. We tend to think of a stereotype as a negative, but an archetype is also a stereotype, right? It's the same thing. It's saying it's more global, which is, or more universal, which is why it's an archetype rather than a stereotype. But nonetheless, same thing. And the new nobility say, but wait a minute, we find that we don't fit into any archetypes or stereotypes because we are process. If you're going to put a label on us, label us as process. When you see me, I am process. Not in process, I am process. Slight little difference there, right? They're saying this is their way of being, is that they are continually process, right? Everything is changing. Everything is adapting. It can be new. It gets added to, right? It's always in this continual processing, right? So they are process. And this is now what Camillus does. Look at that last line on that page there, by the way. Will you read it, please, Bean?
Okay. And just fly. He left up there, opening slightly to Biella. Biella laughed with joy. I'd like to tell you a story, one of the new nobility founding fables. Cornelius interested, solidified slightly.
Camellius, interested, solidified slowly. The commas are important there, right?
Yes.
I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that, right? That's a small little sentence there, but it's got a lot in it, right? So Camellius is now interested. And because he's interested, he's solidified slightly. But there's an implication. If he's solidifying slightly, that means he wasn't quite solid in the first place, yes?
Yes.
Right? He was a bit there. And it's also by implication that interest can solidify us, right? And Biella knows this, which is why she says to put this up. She doesn't just start telling the story. She says, I'd like to tell you a story. She gives him the option of choice. Yes.
Yes.
She's very cognizant of her responsibility here, right? And she qualifies it, one of the new nobility founding fables. Actually, that if you would make that F of founding a capital F for me, please, Bina. Because founding fables is the name of this, right? They have a bunch of them, right? And it's a thing. It's a thing, right? But it brings Camellius. It helps him to hold some stability, some solidity, right? Because he solidifies, because he was starting to unravel somewhat. I don't know. I just love that
Yes.
line. I think it's very cool. All right, please
Yes.
continue. Please continue, Magical
Yes.
Bean.
I guess that okay, because now it's my time to go and eat. And
Oh,
next night we are going to start a story. If you want to continue, then
you
it's
want
of
me to
course,
read the story? Is that what you're saying?
or maybe we can just continue tomorrow.
We could do that. We could do that because it is a pressingly busy day. Yes, so I think we'll do that.
Yes.
I think we'll do that.
Yes. Yes.
Norma, before we go, let's just connect with Norma here and on all
Yes.
Norma's magicalness. Did you find the comments again?
Thank you, Norma. Thank you,
Yeah, yeah,
Norma,
yeah.
for the
It's not that I
message.
don't believe you. Norma can't find the comments. You were commenting, Norma. I don't know what happened, that it changed. So maybe just refresh or something. I don't know. But you're there, Norma, you're there. Anyway, I hope you can hear this, Norma. Yes, we do love you, and we're thrilled that you're here. Always, Norma, always. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No problem. It's there, Norma. It's there. It's there. It's there. And sometimes you just have to refresh or whatever. All right, Norma, we'll
Yes.
continue tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow. That's a very good place to leave it, right at the start of the story. Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye, everybody, and see you tomorrow. All right, I better end here
Yes.
now.
See you tomorrow, and we will start with the
Yes,
story
yeah. The
right away
spiral fable,
tomorrow.
that's what it's called.
Hopefully.
The name of it is the spiral fable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'll
Interesting.
share some artwork with the spiral fable tomorrow. Remind me, Bina. It's not in the
Okay.
story
Okay.
yet, but I will put it in on the slides and I'll share it. So that's very cool. Very
Yes.
cool. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys tomorrow. Bye
Yeah.
for now.
And meeting